You guys just you keep coming around. I just keep hearing about you guys.
And I might need to tell Ryan to cut that up a little bit and just put it in my audio for my phone.
First of all, I love the game. I had a passion to play the game, not only football, but I love the game of golf. And what it lends to a person and the friendships you develop on the golf course.
It's been a pleasure being on the drop. I wish you guys all the best down the road.
As someone like you have that golf itch like a lot of us do.
I keep track of you, and you are moving. You are on the move.
So listen, I'm a big New Jersey golf guy. You're very kind, Mike, and you too, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be on just a couple of Jersey boys here talking about something we love. All the best. I really enjoyed it.
This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back. You got episode 159 with Mike and I here. We got an exciting episode, Mike. Let's run through our weekly topics. I'm sorry, our weekly schedule first, and then we'll get into the topics. Yesterday was Monday the 20th. Mike and I got out to Metidaconk recently, so we both recorded holes out there. Mike's verse yesterday was the 7th hole on the first 9, par 4. Just a great hole, Mike, and you can go check out that came out yesterday over on Instagram, YouTube. You can go find it wherever we're posting stuff. Today is Tuesday the 21st. Mike, wave to the camera. Episode 159. You can check us out on YouTube where you can watch what we got going on. You can listen to the pod wherever you get podcasts, but wherever you're doing that, make sure you're rate, reviewing, subscribing, all those good things. That goes a long way for us. Wednesday, I played Metidaconk, the 24th hole, which is actually Mike and I were fortunate enough to play the championship routing, which is there's 3 9s there. We played the third 9 first, and then we played the first 9 is kind of how that routing goes. So we actually started on the 19th hole. We played 19 through 27 and then 1 through 9. So the 24th hole, it's a par 5, long hole. You're going to have to wait till tomorrow to see how I did. This Thursday, we put it all out on Instagram, out on YouTube. You've probably seen the videos of the quick hitting content. But Zach from the Makeshift joined us at Pine Barrens, and boy, did we have a day. We sat down with Zach before we got out to play, and kind of, I mean, Mike, we could have done off camera stuff for hours, just picking his brain and just chat with him, right? But then we actually, started rolling the tape and talked to him about all different kind of things. But just a great dude. And you talk about a high level influencer, really is right up there. So Zach is our interview for Thursday, and then 3 and 30 is being adjusted a little bit. Mike does the 3 and 30s because he's good at golf. I'm doing 3 and 60 because I take a few more shots than he does. But I kept it going and kept the cameras rolling. So for holes 25, 26, and 27, I recorded out there, and you're going to get to see those on Friday this week. So that's our weekly schedule. It's what we got coming out, and that's what we got. I'll tell you, Metidaconk was special. It was a fun day. We did a whole bunch of stuff there. And the 27th hole is the one that Studer and I bet on. So,
you know what we're gonna do is stay tuned, because we're gonna do some things behind the scene. We're gonna get that out. We're gonna have to get that out next. Stay tuned for next week when we recap that video, because I'm gonna work behind the scenes. We're gonna get that out. Stay tuned. We're gonna find a way, because that's Studer versus you on the 27th hole, championship back 9 tournament course, 27th hole. There was a bet that someone actually jumps in the pond, and you did bring your swimming suits. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to that.
We will put that out. So that's our weekly schedule for this week.
This episode is presented by All County Exteriors. If you're a homeowner or builder in New Jersey, there's one name you need to know for exterior and interior modeling. It's All County Exteriors. From roofing, siding, windows and doors, to kitchens, bathrooms, flooring and trim, they do it all. And with over 40 years of experience as a third-generation, family-owned company, you're getting more than just a contractor. you're getting a team that stands behind their work. Now, it is a great time to finally start that deck project you've been putting off before the winter weather hits and lead times pile up. And when you choose All County, you're not just getting top-tier craftsmanship. You're supporting a company rooted in real community values, proudly giving back through organizations like Make-A-Wish, St. Jude's, Roost for Troops, and Parents of Autistic Children. Right now, they're offering an instant 20% off a limited time. Call 732-370-2780 or email info@allcountyonline.com to schedule your free consultation. All County Exteriors, quality you can trust from people who care. All right, so let me hit you here with the fast facts. Obviously, the PGA Tour took a week off last week because the Ryder Cup just wrapped up, but we're back at the Bank of Utah Championship. We're going to start going with some Korn Ferry Tour names now here in the fall season. John Pack is the only one in the field, and we've said this on repeat, so I'm not going to, say it again, but maybe I will here. He needs to do something. John Pack needs to do something to find a way to retain his card heading into next year. So hopefully he makes the cut. Hopefully he climbs the leaderboard, and who the hell knows, maybe he notches his first career W.
That'd be great. John, best of luck. And then when you do make a move and you do make things happen, we got to get John on.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about this. So obviously nothing going on the Korn Ferry Tour, but I do think it's important that we bring this up. This is my next, mission in our Fast Facts era. Now that the Korn Ferry Tour is over, is heading to PGA Tour Q School. Now, obviously, a
natural progression.
Right. Yeah. No doubt. We're trying to figure out a way to get to the Korn Ferry Tour first. And if we're capable of doing that, maybe we can get to the PGA Tour because there are some spots there. Well, if you notice, last week's guest was David Pastore. Okay. He just won and completed the MGA Career Grand Slam, won the Med Open in 2025 as well. That elusive victory that was hanging over his head. Well, he went to our neck of the woods right here at Galloping Hill. Huge fan of the podcast. Big time supporters of what we do. Love them. David Pastore ends up going out and being co-medalist after 4 rounds. The dude played golf, finished at 17 under par through those 4 rounds with a second round 64. I talked to him this weekend. He was pumped. He apologized for not communicating at all with me during the round. After every night, I would send him LFGs, exclamation marks, because he was trying to focus on playing golf. So, he got the job done. And I'll also say this. We had some other guys in the field. Colin Summers being another guy. Unfortunately, Colin did not get through first stage. And that's what this was. But our old guest, Jack Simon, did. Jack Simon got through qualifying at the first stage. They're going to the next stage. I did talk to Jack. They find out on the 27th where the next stage will be. So in terms of where they'll go, I don't know yet because there's still some more first stages that have to be played, which leads me into the last one. Our old guy here from New Jersey, another stud growing up, Dawson Jones. I had asked Dawson why he wasn't coming to Galloping Hill, and he said the grass matters. He wanted to continue playing on Bermuda grass in North Carolina because that's what he was practicing on all winter long down there at Florida.
Interesting.
Obviously,
okay.
Yeah, obviously us here in the Northeast are playing bent grass, very different. So Dawson actually starts day 1 today, Tuesday, October 21st, and it'll be 4 rounds. So I'll be able to give you a little bit of update on where Dawson finished next week.
And he's playing at Bermuda Run Country Club? Is that what you just?
In North Carolina,
he's playing.
Yeah. But Bermuda grass is really the point that he was emphasizing.
Well, I had pulled up the first stage sites, and the only one in North Carolina is Bermuda Run Country Club. So ironically, I would imagine they have Bermuda grass. And that's one of those that, like, for those that are wondering the difference in grass, like when you play up here in the Northeast, if you hit one, you have a possibility of the divot staying whole. The Bermuda grass is going to be more fine. It's going to explode more likely. So that does matter, to those guys that are at such a high level. To guys like me and Mike, I don't know if you put yourself in that. That's not something that I think about because I don't hit the ball as consistently as where they are. So, how it reacts to different things is not something that comes to my mind specifically. But hey, a guy like Dawson that's trying to, he needs everything that he can get. And so good for him for trying, and best of luck out there.
Yep. So that wraps up this week's Fast Facts, boys and girls.
Mike, can we talk about, can we start, and this is not one of the topics here, but can we talk about Jack Simon and him getting through here, and him and David go into the second stage, and kind of what is that? You know, these top 15 in ties go to moved on, right? As I'm looking at the list here, right? David's tied for first. Jack is fifth. What does that mean getting to second stage? And when we don't know where it is yet, but is second stage the top 15 and then they go to final stage? Like, do you know how that works for us?
So they don't tell you how many move on until after the first round of each tournament. So like, I never knew exactly how many were going to move on after the first stage until round 1 was completed. So I won't have an answer as to how many get through, but obviously they're all going to be that the guys that do get through are going to second stage. You see those, 5 different second stage sites. I think if I remember correctly, there was 5 of them. So they'll be going to one of those 5. And then from there, just like first stage, they'll take X amount of guys and then they'll go to final stage, which is down there at Sawgrass. Okay. They'll play, not TPC Sawgrass, but they'll play the other courses that are down there.
Sawgrass, I'm looking at it right here. It says Sawgrass Country Club, East and West.
Right.
And there's 72 stroke holes.
Yep. So that's where they'll go if they make it to the finals. And then making it to the finals, just like always, X amount of spots will go to the PGA Tour if you finish in top whatever. And then top, I want to say it's in that 75 ballpark, goes to the Korn Ferry Tour, full status. And then after 75 and lower, then you'll get conditional status, because that is what Dawson had this past year. I did talk to Dawson. Did he actually get in any events? Had he been on site, he would have got in somewhere between 3 to 5. But since he wasn't on site, because when you're an alternate, you can't go to every single site. You just don't have the funds to do that.
Right.
So he ended up not playing in any actual Korn Ferry Tour events this year because of that.
Was that for Dawson? Was that like a choice? Like he just wasn't going to travel to save the money and just stay home and practice? And okay, so it's not even like he tried at some and didn't.
No, so like you each week a list comes out, and you could be the 5th, 6th, 7th alternate, and you could roll the dice and go. Mm-hmm. And you may not find out till Thursday morning that someone got sick, and that, all right, we're going all, first alternate's not here, second alternate. Okay, the 9th alternate's actually here.
Right.
You're getting in. So it's a roll of the dice. It's a very big expense, which a lot of guys end up not taking, which is why this time of the year for all of them is so
huge.
So big.
Huge. Why do they do the first round? Why do they wait till the first round to figure out how many are moving on?
Because they want to see how many people show up, right? Because you end up getting a lot of no-shows. So you can't predetermine the number until you see how many people completed the first round.
Okay.
So I can't automatically say, oh, we're going to take the top 20. Oh, and by the way, 80 guys withdrew. So every guy gets in.
Gotcha. Okay. I am looking, 3 withdrew from Galloping Hill.
See, there you go.
3 withdrew.
So,
but they played because they were +3, +11, and +11.
So they played it. They probably played their first round maybe, and then just said, okay.
Well,
I'm not getting in.
You know what? I wish I knew that. You would think that I would, but it just says +3, +11, +11, and then the rest of their stat line is blank.
So I'll give you an example. So that kid Nate,
yeah,
who withdrew, did not play the 4th round. So he left after round 3.
Okay. Knowing that he wasn't in.
Correct.
And is that a pride thing, or is that like he
probably
went to go play another tournament, catch an earlier
sometimes,
flight?
listen, I'm sure there's a lot of things like that guy Mikkel, who also withdrew.
Yeah.
He also did not play the 4th round. But then if you go to guy Christian, he only played rounds 1 and 2, and then he bounced. Listen, some of these guys probably have real jobs. And if it's not going to work, they're saying, I got to get back to work.
Go back and make some money. Okay. Because you see someone withdrew and you're automatically like, well, right, that's kind of childish. Why don't you committed to something, play it out. But that is interesting that they wait to see to the first. I didn't realize that. So interesting to know. All right, Mike, let's get into our topics then.
Oh, listen, that's a little education for everybody. I think it's important.
It was educational to me. Sometimes I ask you questions because there are some, we got to remember, sometimes there's not hardo golfers that know everything about it. So I ask you questions that even if you and I know, I kind of give you a volleyball so we can kind of get everybody on the same page, right? I mean, it's what we have to do.
Unless you're giving me a booster, I'm not spiking it, so I can just hit it over the net.
But in the same respect, like, I legitimately didn't know why they waited till after the first. So that makes sense now, and I'm a better person for it. So then let's get into our big topic for this week, Mike. We've had a little bit of a run, and I tell you, I see people and they're like, man, you guys are hot right now. And we are. We played Matita Conch last week. We talked about that. That came out, and I mean, what an amazing facility, right? We talked about that. This week we went to Hackensack Golf Club, and again, only continued our run of special places that we've been to. Now, the first thing that people say are always, well, why don't you try some public spots? And this time of year is our time to go to these private spots because it's easier for us to get on at those places then, right? I think that needs to be said, Mike, because the public courses are always going to be packed, and they're always going to be, I don't want to say always available to us, but these spots now are slower than they are during the summer, and it's easier for us to make these happen. The pros have more time, so we can do an interview there. So while we're going to talk about Hackensack next week, our interview with Greg, their head pro, is going to come out. So, there's more than just one thing happening there. So, let's get into Hackensack, Mike. And we need to first start off with the hospitality of everybody there. I mean, from Greg, the staff, like, you got there and the outside staff was attentive. They brought your bags to the back. The locker room attendant, everybody that we met went above and beyond what was, the call of duty per se, to be gracious, to be good to us. And I'll tell you, we couldn't have been more gracious for their hospitality.
Yeah, I mean, again, Tim opening up, Tim Lane. Tim was the president, but Greg opening up his doors to letting us come and sit down with him ahead of time. We took the hike north. Hearing his story that people are really going to truly, truly enjoy next Thursday, it's going to be something else. But then getting on the golf course and meeting Tim, their president as well, like, those guys are just two down-to-earth, normal people. And I know sometimes that people think about private golf courses and they're like, oh, a little stuck up. They could be like, don't mess with my stuff. These guys were as kind, as generous, as open as they come. Anything that you and I needed, I felt like we could have gotten
100%.
No matter what it was, a scorecard. Somehow someone had an extra. You wanted a sandwich at the turn, done. You wanted a drink, done. Even Shaq, who videoed all 18 holes, you want something? Done. You need a cart? Done. The hospitality from the beginning, to your point, as we showed up to the minute we left, hard to beat.
It really was. So we went there, we got up early. We interviewed Greg, and as Mike said, that interview's coming out next week, and it's a doozy, right? It's the story that he has is his whole life from stem to stern in that interview is really going to be interesting to a lot of people. And then we got out on the golf course, and as Mike said, we played with Tim, their president, and Greg, obviously, and then you and I, and it was a pinch me moment, Mike, because we're getting spoiled at the caliber of golf courses we're playing. Because when you're playing such high level courses, it's getting tough to decide which one is better than which one, and how to separate some of these, because each one of them is as good as the next, and Hackensack's no different.
As the leaves begin to turn into those stunning fall colors, there's no better place to enjoy it than Galloping Hill Golf Course in Union County, New Jersey. Whether you're looking to play a round of championship level golf, plan the wedding of your dreams, or relax with casual indoor or outdoor dining at a modern gastropub, Galloping Hill has it all. Not many public golf facilities can boast a top-ranked 18-hole golf course, a top 10 in the country 9-hole course, and a top 50 in the country learning center that is home to one of the only golf simulators at a municipally owned golf course in the country. The Swing Suite at Galloping Hill can be booked for an hour to work on your game or multiple hours to have an awesome hangout with your friends while you watch the game. Enjoy the bar-style foods and drinks while playing some of the most famous courses in the world on this simulator. To top it all off, Galloping Hill will be hosting the first stage of Korn Ferry Tour Q School this October. It's all happening this year at Galloping Hill Golf Course. Yeah, I mean, they use the term hidden gem a lot about Hackensack, and I don't think it will be a hidden gem much longer. I think it's going to be a well-known top 20, top 15 golf course in the state of New Jersey because it's a North Jersey absolute gem designed by Charles Banks, featuring template holes you frankly haven't seen anywhere in the Garden State. You know, we talked Redan, Biarritz, Punchbowl.
The Punchbowl was so cool.
Oh, so cool. Just original Banks ideas that just made Hackensack stand out. It truly did.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And being that it's a Banks course, and that was kind of one of the things that we talk about in the interview is that it's some people thought it was a Rainer, but it's a full Charles Banks course that he designs it stem to stern. Rainer had passed away before he was able to get his hands on it. I mean, it's a special layout, and you talk about like the bunkering there was
so good.
I mean, I don't know if we've seen better bunkering at any other place in the state. Some of these faces were 12 feet high. I don't know how they're cutting the grass and getting them so well manicured because they are just one after the other. The bunkering was perfect, absolutely perfect.
Listen, I know you weren't there that day, but it had Essex County back nine written all over all 18 holes because every bunker on the back nine of Essex County is just like that. And then when you get to see 18 holes of it, that's one of the things I think people, when the DMs that you and I had received, or even the text messages that I got on the side was like, how good was Hackensack? What did you think? How'd you play? And I know that fairway bunkers can be one of the most annoying things in the world to hit in. And you could argue, why is that there? That's terrible. Well, clearly there's a reason why it's there. And you and I found too many, frankly, at this point. I mean, I found it off the first damn tee. Right off the tee, I'm hitting into the fairway bunker right off the get-go. So talk about positioning of where these things are. I think that's why a place like that, it's beyond important to really think your way around that golf course. Because if you don't hit it long enough, or frankly, solid enough, you need to lay back and play that golf course more strategically, as I like to say, poke and prod your way along. Because if not, and you try to muscle through that place, listen, you and I learned the hard way. We had doubles and triples on the card. And it was like, oh, lesson learned there. Lesson learned there.
Yeah, it is a special place. And I'll tell you, Mike, something that didn't get talked about enough out there is the logo. That logo is simple, it's elegant, it's sleek, it's a great logo. And it's something that you and I don't talk about a ton, but that logo slaps, as the kids like to say. It's really good. But oh, you looked like you were going to say something, Mike.
Oh, listen, I didn't know I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Really, because I think you're more the history guy than I am. And I think one of the things that we're really learning, as you and I have said many, many times in this podcast, is like, we're learning what we like, what we don't like, what we play well, and what we don't play well. Really, is that's kind of the tour that you and I are on here. Out of all these template holes, we said Redan, the Biarritz, the short, the Punchbowl, it goes on. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite hole at Hackensack?
So it's funny you say that, Mike, because I was just about to ask you the same question. I'll tell you, Greg asked me that question as we got off the course, and I felt really bad that I didn't have a better answer for him right away. Mainly because I hadn't really thought about it while on the course. So I was like taken aback by it and just was like, this one was really good. And it's so easy to say some of the signature holes, right? Like, the 12th hole is the Redan hole that, it's iconic, it's signature, it's their signature hole there. I mean, it's easy to say that one, right? And I do hate saying like the main thing, but sometimes it's like why people come to New York and they want to see the Statue of Liberty because it's iconic, right? That's a touristy thing to do, but it's touristy kind of for a reason, right? So I think the same thing with some of the holes. Like, yeah, it's easy to say 12, but 12 was really a great hole. It required a good golf shot. It requires you to think about it a little bit. You had to, I mean, the wait till you see the putt that I have on and where I'm putting it to. It's crazy. But I started thinking a little bit more, and the sixth hole was the par 3 that kind of went into the abyss, right? Am I right there? So the 7th hole I really loved. The one that had the 4 cross bunkers. The fairway was combined, like it kind of met with was it the 14th or 15th hole? I think it was the 7th hole and the 15th hole that kind of combined, where you were looking at the 15th flag to hit it at. And the caddy was like, no, wait over there. I actually said to caddy, by the way, shout out Brandon. He follows the podcast. We were talking all the time. Really a great dude. He was like, hey, no, we're going at the wrong flag. I was like, dude, let him fire at that flag, right? I'm trying to be, but like that was such a cool hole. So you have the fairways combined. You have the only thing that's separating the 2 greens is this enormous bunker. That was really, really good. 16, the Punchbowl was such a good hole too. You talk about like placing bunkers in the right spots. Like if you try to lay short, because it's not a terribly long hole, but if you try to lay short, you're going to have a long iron in to this Punchbowl. It's going to be hard to get close. If you try to put driver out there, you got to go over one bunker or staying to the left of one bunker or over and getting to the right of another bunker. Plus there's a bunker right in the middle that if you are one of the bigger hitters, you got to worry about. Like those kind of things, like that design of that hole was excellent. And I think the same thing going back to 7 with the bunkering there. Like you can stay to the left, you got more room, but it's a tougher angle, or stay to the right of the 4 bunkers in the middle and you got a better angle, but you could be OB quick. So I just thought those couple holes were excellent. And we've talked about closing holes quite a bit. 9 and 18 are phenomenal closing holes. Coming into the clubhouse, you got their big American flag there. Like those are a couple holes that just stand out when I think about the day there. And I want to apologize to Greg now that I'm sorry I was taken aback by it, but now that I'm thinking about it, those are my favorites.
Dude, 7 is so good. 7's a great choice.
Yeah.
7's a great choice. I can't even lie. I forgot about 7. That's how many good holes that were out there. But now that you say 7, those cross bunkers, so good. Mm-hmm. So good. 7's a great choice.
The other one that I was thinking, Mike, is it 8, the next one that had like 4 quadrants? The green, I think it's a par 5, right? Where the pin was front right, but front left was a little higher. Back right was a little higher than that, and back left was even higher. So you had these like 4 distinct corners. I think it was 8. I think it's the next hole. But like, yeah, so many good ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Tell
you and
yours.
I could probably sit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think number 5 for me was my favorite, and not to and to kind of. I probably could say the Punchbowl, the arena, that way the green just looks like its own little arena. So good.
Cool. And I mean,
think
that green, going from front to back, I mean, Greg and I went to the back and putted because the pin was front right. So we went back left and putted, and it was probably a 60, 70 foot putt. And I think I putted it to 5 feet in front of me, and the ball went off the green. So it just rolled and rolled and rolled.
Yeah, I would say number 5 was my hole. I think the principal's nose has always done something weird to me. It's tickled me in spots that I didn't know that actually made me laugh. And that hole did it. I think when I think back to all these Essex County courses that we played on the public side, they have it. And it's kind of always, I love it. I don't know, something weird about it. And that green being as treacherous as it was at number 5, where they put that pin, I actually do appreciate Greg picking up my mark and not having me putt the second putt out and giving it to me because I didn't need another 3-putt on the old scorecard. I thought number 5, I think, was really good. And I thought the one interesting caveat about the golf course, because obviously every hole was so good, so unique, so well maintained, bunkering, to your earlier point, flawless, was the first hole of the golf course is the hardest hole on the golf course. Most times people throw you a bone early on. Here's a short par 5, go make a birdie. Here's a short par 4, just survive. Welcome to the round. At Hackensack, no. That belt better be tight. The shoes better be as tight as they come, because you're attacking the hardest hole on the golf course from the very first tee box. Yeah, to me, you want to talk about a long, strong par 4? Man, oh man. Welcome to Hackensack off that first tee.
Mike, you make a great point here, because I hit a perfect drive. I mean, and I thought I was going to have a day, right? Because it was just an absolute arrow right down the middle. I caught the speed slot. So I was, you ended up getting caught a little bit to the right. It didn't draw as much for you. So you ended up in the bunker, but mine was probably 15, 20 yards past. But then, like, I walk up to it, I think I'm in prime position. I got inside 150. I'm gonna be great. But you're downhill, like the ball is below your feet and on an angle, and you just can't get a good club on it. You really got to be focused, and I was not focused. So because it's below my feet, it fades even more than it usually does. Ends up greenside bunker, which was not a good spot for me because I bladed it over into the other bunker and then, got it on the green and end up putting out. But just that, like, it's a long hole. So if you don't want to deal with the downhill, you can go 3-wood, but then you got, a 6-5 or maybe even some kind of hybrid into the green, because it's a long hole as well. You're really, it is punching you in the teeth right away and showing you need to be focused on every single time you swing here, because if you're not, you're gonna be in big trouble. And I found that out right away.
We found that out right away is
we
probably
did.
a better phrase. Yeah. But I'll say this. I know a lot of people said to me they love the fact that it's a hidden gem. I can't tell you the different texts I got about that on the side. But we said this out there. We said it in the interview. I don't think as we head into 2026 that this place will be a hidden gem any longer. It's going to be a prime time spot that, again, we hear people say it quietly. I think a lot of people are going to start saying it more confidently and even louder, that Hackensack is a place you got to stop what you're doing if you get invited and go play.
Yeah, you can see why Nick Bova loves it so much there. You can see why everybody, does talk about it, raves about it, because it is a special, special place. I do like the term hidden gem for it, because it isn't one that gets the love as much as it should. And that's still saying people give it love. It is better than it's, I pulled it up here, Mike. It's ranked 23rd in New Jersey, and it's better than that. So that'll be a winter conversation for you and I, but it is excellent. It really is.
Yep. So listen, thank you to Greg. Thank you to Tim. Thank you to the entire membership over there, the outside ops, everybody that you and I came across with at Hackensack. And listen, I know if invited again, you and I will gladly pack our bags and head north for another long hike any day of the week. I'll tell you that.
No doubt. I mean, they again, you talk about the hospitality, Mike. Both Tim and Greg were disappointed that we couldn't stay and have a drink after. And we did promise them that we will be back next year and have a drink with them after. So Tim and Greg, please be ready for us next year. We will stay.
George Wall Ford in Red Bank, New Jersey is family owned and operated, proudly serving New Jersey residents with superior customer service since 1960. Rye, Share your story about your experience there.
I can't say enough good things about George Wall Ford. I needed a new car. I had an old. I loved the brand that I had. I loved, it was an SUV, but had 165,000 miles on it. It was just time, So I hopped on over to George Wall Ford. I saw our guy Jerry, and Jerry and his team were awesome. I mean, from stem to stern, they're there. They're helping. They're knowledgeable. They have so many cars on the lot that you can go in and say, "Hey, I want a sunroof, a navigation. I want this kind of rims on it." There's a great chance that they have that car with all your specs, the color, all that thing. I like to be higher in my car. And I went and saw Jerry. He pointed me in the right direction. And again, it's awesome to have that kind of help and support from your salesman to the finance guy to even they got somebody who helps you set up your car, right? I got an app on my phone now that's got my auto start on it. I can locate my car if I don't know where it is. I could take a trip to Japan if I wanted to and be like, did I lock my car? And I can go into the app and lock my car. So just the hands-on approach over there is incredible. So if you need a car, head on over to George Wall and go ask for Jerry. They were awesome there. Again, stem to stern from everybody. I can't say enough good things about it. It was an unbelievable experience.
There isn't a better place to shop for a brand new car. Just call 732-704-1932 and ask for Jeremy Wall. George Wall Ford in Red Bank for all your car buying needs.
Mike, let's get into to some of these other. You got some quick hitting ones at the end here.
Yeah, let's start with this first one because I think this first one is a really interesting thing. And again, I don't know if you saw this, but you know how much I live on my phone. I'm constantly seeing things. Well, a tweet came out the other day on Twitter, which is not normally our number one platform in terms of social media. Things still get posted. So if you are listening, you can go follow the drop_pod. It's right there. But a tweet was put out from the top 200 toughest golf courses in America from Golf Digest from 1966. And which I thought was really interesting. So I was like, oh, me, I'm kind of digging this. Now, granted, we're talking 1966. So it's a really, really long time, well before you and I were even around. But I said, are there any golf courses on New Jersey from this list when you're talking hardest, toughest, okay? And lo and behold, there's 5 golf courses listed from New Jersey as America's toughest top 200 courses. Let me start that over. There's 5 New Jersey courses listed on America's 200 toughest golf courses from 1966. And my question to you is, can you name those 5?
So I probably can't, but I'm going to try, Mike, because I think I'm trying to think of when courses were built, right? I'm going to say Pine Valley is on that list because Pine Valley is built in the 20s, I believe.
Pine Valley is on the list. You got one of the 5.
Okay. I'm going to go the old course at Trump Bedminster, based on what you had said, was it last week or the week before when you were looking at the hardest golf courses in New Jersey when we were talking about Matitaconk, and Trump Bedminster was the hardest in New Jersey. I'm not sure when it's built, but I'm going to say before 67. So I'm going to say Trump Old Course Bedminster.
Built after 1966, not on the list.
Okay. Let's go within the top courses in the state. Let's go Baltusrol.
Baltusrol Lower is on the list. Now, here's the catch. These other 3 golf courses that are listed out of the 5 are in Ocean County to the bottom of the state of New Jersey.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. So, because I was going to go
and
Ridgewood
one you love,
next.
And one you love.
One I love. Seaview?
Seaview Pines is listed on the list.
Mike, remember I said that earlier this summer, and
I
played Seaview Pines. If they were to give it the TLC that it needs, it can be better than the Bay course. I firmly believe that. Okay, Seaview Pines.
And I'm going to, no offense, the next 2 are both public.
Okay, I was going to go Atlantic City, so Interesting.
I'll give you one guess because we would be here for the next 365 days before you even got to this, unless you went alphabetical order.
Unless I went alphabetical order. Okay. I was gonna say Ballamore next, but I don't know when these are gonna be built, so it's gonna be tough to. Why don't you just give them to me rather than or give me a hint and let's see if I can guess it.
So the hint was alphabetical order. So the number 4 on the list is Atlantis.
Atlantis? Okay.
Okay, which is a county course.
I know.
In Ocean County.
Blown away.
Oh, so Atlantis.
What
and the
happened
number
to it?
5, obviously a lot. Or really what was been built since then.
Yeah.
Next, and the final course listed is Buena Vista.
Buena
in
Vista?
Vineland, New Jersey.
Wow.
So the 5 courses in New Jersey.
Would not have gotten either of those two.
America's 200 toughest courses. We're going, what a list for Atlantis, Buena Vista, Baltusrol Lower, Seaview Pines, and Pine Valley. What a list to be included in 1966.
Wow. Atlantis. I got to look at Atlantis Golf Course now, Mike, because I don't think I've ever played there.
Oh, really?
Because I think I know. I think I get the gist of what's going on there. But
1966, America's 200 toughest courses.
That is crazy. What is the slope and rating? I'm pulling up the scorecard now, so you don't.
I don't know. All I have right now is I can tell you at the time. I can tell you what it was at the time.
What was it at the time?
But I can only give you the rating of each of them. And at the time, Atlantis was 73, Pine Valley 73, Baltusrol Lower 72, Buena Vista 72, Seaview Pines 72. How nuts is that? That Atlantis was rated as hard as Pine Valley in 1966. Crazy stat.
Wow, that is wild. Now, when did Pine Valley become the number 1 golf course in America? Do you know that?
I don't.
So I'm going to have to do some research there because now I'm interested to see, like, did Pine Valley, like, did Crump build it and it wasn't awesome right away and they did some renovations? Did it, obviously it's going to take time, right? It doesn't just become the best course in the world overnight, but I wonder if there's a reasoning there, or like you said,
1922, the course was completed and essentially in its present form. 1922.
Pine Valley was. Honestly, that's what I thought. I would have been shocked had they done work to it, or big enough work to truly change it. Wow, that's legitimately shocking. I
came across that. I said I had to throw this out there. Unbelievable for that. Those courses, no offense to Atlantis, none to Buena Vista, no disrespect to Seaview Pines, but to be listed as America's 200 toughest courses with the likes of Pine Valley and Balti Lower, absolutely an incredible time to live in 1966.
Wow. That's wild, dude. That is wild. What a great, Mike, good pull. That was good. Good. Twitter's good for something, I guess.
So I got a couple quick other things here. I do want to toss, Reed Greyserman. He had a crazy, unbelievable summer. Well, he continued that this past week. I don't know if people saw. I did get a few DMs about it. He won individual medalist honors for the Princeton Tigers at the 2025 St. Andrews Links out there, obviously at the old course at St. Andrews. Fired a smooth 64, which is kind of crazy to think that, that those are the type of numbers that he's putting up. And kudos to them. He actually finished at 8 under for the 2 rounds. 64, 68 was his 2 rounds. Absolutely incredible. Then Princeton goes on to win it as a team. Another unbelievable accomplishment for really, not a place that you typically think about in terms of big time Division I golf programs, but our very own. You know how the Greyserman family is. They are all about education and golf in a combo pack. Boy, oh boy, is he getting it there.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. It's amazing the Greyserman boys, what they're doing in the world of golf. And you don't want to be, you don't want to try to gas them up too much, but you got to think that they're on the right trajectory to make their name in golf, not just some kind of, local name. They are primed for something bigger.
No doubt about it. Listen, and Reed is on a trajectory unlike probably the other two as well. So, kudos to Reed. I had to put that out there. I did send him a text on our behalf. So I did have to mention that out there to the world of golfing in the Garden State. I also want to bring up the James Nicklaus story that I know you really loved the idea of how he gave you a weekly breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if he heard you or if he heard us. I don't know if he heard everybody else that commented on it. But my man gave a full 2025 season breakdown of every expense, every dollar earned from the very first tournament to the absolute last. And I don't know if you saw this. Did you see it?
So I did. I don't. I saw it when it came out. I'm not going to remember the specifics of it, though.
Okay,
like specific
so
numbers.
My one question to you: when you add up all of the money earned, subtracting all his expenses, how much money did James Nicklaus profit?
Yeah, I don't know if I got that far in the video or if I wasn't. I think I saw it when I couldn't listen to something. So I did see it and I didn't go back to it. I'm going to say that it's 40% of what his total income was.
I don't have. Now you're asking me a financial,
percentage.
I don't give out financial advice. I'm not a financial planner, so I can't. I got to put that caveat out there. I don't know that answer. I just have a number.
If he made $1,000, that he took home $600 after paying everybody out. That's what I'm saying.
So the profit was just north of $100,000 is what he pocketed.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy to think that that's it, right?
Wow.
When you think about all the money that he probably makes, all right, and to think that of all the tournaments, of all the sponsors, all that stuff, that is all that he actually made from it, which is just absolutely crazy to think that what did he actually make? And I'm going to see if I can. Yeah,
I would have guessed more, to be honest with you, especially because I think people think professional athlete. He's a professional golfer. Yes, he's not on the PGA Tour, but I think it kind of goes to like you compare it to like minor league baseball. I don't know what those guys are making, but like you think they're professional athletes. I bet you that they're making less than we think.
So his total earnings, $255,000. His total expenses was $151,000 for a gross profit of $103,000. And his biggest expense was his caddy.
Wow. What did he pay his caddy?
So his caddy made $37,400 for the season.
Okay. So he made $100,000. The caddy made $37,000. That's wild. Again, so it's even more than a percentage that I thought, because he walked with $100,000, but he paid out $150,000.
Yep.
Wow.
So I thought that was really another. I don't know if he heard you, but I had to put it out there that he put that out there just for you to take a look at. So again,
I think he's paid attention. I'll message him and he'll like the comment. So
there you go.
Maybe he was. Wild. Really cool. I'm glad that James is doing that, because I think it is shedding light on. Again, we think like these professional athletes are like living laps of luxury, and it's just not the case. Like $100,000 is a nice living. I'm not saying it's not, but when you think about the grind that he has to go through, and how him and his wife are I don't want to say they're living in poverty, but like you talk about like how much a house costs, and then you got to buy a house in an area that you have to be at a golf course, and then I'm sure that he's getting a membership at a place, and maybe they're giving it to him, but maybe they're not. You talk about like expenses that way. That's a really interesting, breakdown. And I would have thought that it would have been I would have thought that it would have been more, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I got one final thing here on a quick hitting thing. And I know we celebrate these things because to us, they're big time milestones, and maybe to everybody else or not, but congrats, big fella. 3,000 followers. Jesus, how bad am I right now?
We just got, hey,
yeah.
Look at us.
Let me correct that. 13,000 followers on Instagram. Again, I know that people may say that's nothing, but listen, when you start at the ground level, zeros across the board, growing it into what we have today. I know you say it every day at the top, like, subscribe, follow, rate, review, all those good things. Well, we're at 13 on Instagram. And I think another big time numbers on Spotify is that we eclipsed the 300 rating mark on Spotify to where now we have 301 ratings, all 5-star ratings,
wow.
Which I think is kind of incredible when you think about it, that yes, I know people listen, and I know, yes, people don't always agree with you and I takes. They don't, right? But for everybody to just frankly appreciate the work that you and I are doing week in and week out, to have 300 people, over 300 people give it a 5-star rating. Again, I know we say it often. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, we do. I say it at the top all the time, but it really does mean a lot to us, not just as a badge of pride for you and I, but it is a great, it helps us in a lot of ways, and it helps us to be able to extend to sponsors and just extend to, different clubs and things that goes a long way for us. That is a meaningful thing. So thank you to everybody for doing that. And it is crazy that everybody likes what we're doing, right? And really likes it, not like kind of likes it, because kind of likes it would be a 4, right?
Yeah, it's a wacky, wild world. But listen, those things mean a lot. And when you're talking the world of algorithms and search engines that I know a lot of people don't really care about, but I do, and I love that world, those analytics go a long way, especially when you start talking about For You pages or different things pop up in search engines. Mm-hmm. We want the Drop podcast there. We want Golfing in the Garden State there. And those little things to you may seem not important, but to Ryan and I, they are so super, super important. So thank you. And stay tuned this week. I mean, you and I are back at it. We are back at it, trying to provide as much content, as much information about golfing in the Garden State as we can. Sit back, relax, and enjoy, people.
All right, that's our show for today. Stay tuned Thursday. Zach from the Makeshift with a banger of an interview. So stay tuned to that on Thursday. Till then, cheers.